National Security Adviser John Bolton is fired by President Trump after several disagreements on foreign policy. One America's Emerald Robinson has the latest on this White House shakeup.
That's right. The news of Ambassador John Bolton's departure as National Security Advisor here at the White House came as somewhat of a surprise, since the ambassador was set to join Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin at a briefing at the White House at 1:30 on this Tuesday. However, the president tweeting the news about his decision on early Tuesday, saying, "I informed John Bolton last night that his services are no longer needed at the White House. I disagree strongly with many of his suggestions, as did others in the administration, and therefore I asked John for his resignation, which was given to me this morning." However, shortly after the president's tweet and the news breaking, Ambassador Bolton took to Twitter himself to say this: "I offered to resign last night, and President Trump said, let's talk about it tomorrow." So Bolton, they're somewhat contradicting the president's account of circumstances. Now, there had been a lot of reports recently that the president and Ambassador Bolton were not seeing eye to eye on certain national security issues, pointedly over the weekend about the Taliban meeting that was set to take place at Camp David, but fell through in the 11th hour after the Taliban took responsibility for a terror attack that resulted in the death of a U.S. soldier. But Bolton's turning point here at the White House really seems to have come after the failed coup in Venezuela, of which Bolton was largely the point person for the U.S. after the U.S. had backed opposition leader Juan Guaido to try to overtake the Nicolas Maduro regime. However, sources at the White House had told One American News that there likely wouldn't be a shakeup in the role of National Security Advisor until after the 2020 election. The big question is now, who fills the shoes in this important position and advisor role to the president? There's been several names that sources have suggested to One American News, including former NSA Chief of Staff Fred Fleitz, who has been meeting with the president at least a couple times in recent weeks. Fleitz has, of course, been a part of this administration, specifically in that office, and has a lot of background in national security issues, but also a couple of other names that have been suggested, as Brian Hook, who is currently the U.S. envoy to Iran at the State Department, as well as Colonel Douglas McGregor, a former Army official. Back to you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.